Hey everyone, time for Geocache Talk. Whether at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please get a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and now Spotify. You can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to Trailbugs for the music and our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Aggie Jedi Master, Electric Water Boy. Got to see him this weekend. In fact, I saw a lot of the patrons this weekend, which was awesome to see everybody at the Giga.
Didn't you say
Uh,
like 20 plus?
Yeah, we're over. We had over 20,
We're trying to
over
count for the
20.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, which is incredible. Antaeus, of course, Joshua, geocaching vlogger, was there. Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Butterfly Girl. We saw her, and she was kind of she was busy, but we saw her from afar. But she was there. Loon Trackers, the Aussie geocacher, got to spend a time with him. That was a lot of fun. Of course, Zach, Sodak Zach. We will see him in a little while. Um, the Deadliest Cachers, got to see Nancy, take a picture, give her a hug, and thank her for her patron support. Got to run into Terrell too. That was fun. Got to see him. Got to do a photo together. They had a little U.S. geocaching hour get together, so that was fun. Of course, Neil Moore, got to spend some time with him. There was a vlogger summit that I'll mention here in a second, but Team D&D, got to see them. They're fired up, and we'll talk about why they're fired up in a little bit. Geocaching Adam, got to see him, spend time with him. Got to see Peachy 1276. No Code Geocachers, Curiosity Girl, Tick Magnet. Got to meet Marsipanic. That was great. Just fun to have people walk up and go, "Hey, I'm Marsipanic." It's like, "Oh, man, it's awesome. It's good to see you. It's awesome." Because, yeah, so many people, I can't necessarily recognize them, but when they walk up, it's like, come here, let me get a photo, you know, and
If
shake
it
their.
seems like I'm ignoring all this, it's just because I'm wildly jealous that you had so much fun last
I
weekend.
know, I know. That's okay. I know. I don't want to. Didn't want to make it sound like that, but
No, you're not trying to rub it in at all, are you?
no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just trying to. It was an incredible weekend. Bricker John, Fire Safe, FS Sabero, uh, Geo Rick, got to meet Cash Addict Mel. That was fun. Met her on the trail as we were going out to Ohio's oldest geocache, and she's like, "Gary." So that was kind of fun to meet one actually out geocaching at the same time. Geocaching Janji, the geocaching junkie, got to meet Sir Drumalot. Had a good time talking with him. Janice, got to meet him. Tricasius, got to meet him. Tom Frey, Rugels. Of course, I see him all the time. He doesn't live too far away from me, but I got to see him there. Got to meet the Bruce Zero. Had a great time talking with him. That was fun. EGK PBR, got to meet him in person. I think I met him in person before though, so but that's okay. Got to see him again. Casamaya, got to meet Master Sergeant USMC. We had a good talk. Little Gears, Albedo, got to meet Albedo 0.39. Uh, and then It's only Barney. Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy. AFK Geocaching, that dude was busy. So we didn't get to see Jesse Tuttle, but he was very busy. Josh Boggs, and then our new patrons, Carrot Killer, got to meet him in person. Got to meet Geocaching with Lampe. Before him, of course, Korsgat. Geocaching with Lampe, from France. Got to meet him, and then our very new patron is Brent Him 07. So if you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, other geocaching swag during the year, as well as special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. Well, here we are, and let me welcome my co-host, Jesse, aka Memphis Mafia,
I feel
to
like I've been doing a
show
lot of traveling, but I made it.
to show 100.
I did a lot of
Wow.
virtual traveling this weekend, but
I
made it for
hear
the
you.
show.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you had
Flat
you had a
me
great,
did a lot of traveling.
your flat me traveled a lot. Your flat me was at the announcement for next year's.
I
Yeah.
know that was pretty cool.
Well, let's hope it's a kick up. But yeah, you were up on the stage. How
That's okay.
freaky was
Flat me got to go to the Giga. Round me, which I don't like that other term. Round
no,
me got to stay and visit with family and do graduation. So it worked out okay.
which is great. I'm
Yeah.
glad you got to do that.
I'm jealous of Flat Memphis, but Round Memphis got to, got to do something else. That's cool.
Now, where that the trackable that was on the back of there? Whose
Uh-huh.
trackable is that? Is that your
That's
trackable or
me.
is that yours? Okay.
Yeah, it's my
Did you
tattoo.
did you see? Oh, that's your tattoo. Okay, right. Have you looked to see how many people have logged that thing?
A few have. It's funny too. I posted one of them. Somebody logged it and said, "I saw this on the back of your face in Zach's hands." They
Right,
didn't say there was a sign or it was Flat Memphis or anything else. I'm like, that log is going to be funny in like 6 months when I forget what it's about. Because
right,
that's one of the only trackables that I have that I actually read all the logs on.
right.
It's the one that's on my my tattoo.
Yeah,
So
your tattoo.
in like 6 months, it's going to say, "Hey, what? What's
Right.
going on with that?" So that was a pretty funny one.
I got a photo too. I got to pull it up, but a guy has a tattoo.
Oh,
And
okay. Francis said 3D Jesse instead of round Jesse. I like that better.
You like that better? I do too. I agree with you, buddy. I got to find this one because it is insane. But it was smart what he did. So while I look for this, I'm going to say, so okay, so this one I can't show it, but we're talking about trackables, but this guy has a chip in his arm, right in his wrist.
Oh, wow.
And you can use one of those the NFC, the near field communication on your phone.
Like a RFID scanner or something?
Yeah, and if you scan it with the your near field communication thing, it'll show you. It'll pull up the geocaching page, and you can see his the code to log it.
That's crazy.
How insane is that? So I need to log his RFID. I've got it right here. It's crazy.
See if he's got it locked or if you can take it.
Right. Take it off his arm. That's just insane. Okay, so I got to show this one. I don't think it's my problem to show it because I'm not going to. I should block some of it. I'll block part of it. So let me see if I think I can block part of this thing.
And don't give it away to like the whole audience.
I'm not giving away the whole thing.
Saw your trackable posted on geocachetalk.com.
Yeah,
oh, that's pretty cool.
So let me block. Let me I think I'm blocking enough of it to I'm blocking it. So see what he did? He put in there hang on. Hang on. Let me block a little bit more of it. Anyway, get the idea. So yeah, that's good. You can't see it. See how he changes his cache finds? He keeps changing.
Wow.
So he has a tattoo and he'll scratch.
He's adding to it.
Yeah, he's adding to it. So he's scratching off part of it as he goes. So
I could imagine me trying to pitch that to Christy. Hey, I want to embed this thing under my skin.
That one right there.
I mean, she's been nice enough to let me get away with a lot of things, but I don't know about that one. I think that may be a little much.
That one's a little crazy.
Yeah, that chip is a bit much.
the chip's a bit much. Yeah. I agree. So let's get right into this. And we're going to do a little bit of news, and then we're going to get into the rest of it. But I want to start by remembering we're doing a lot of tonight's show is a lot of looking back and looking forward. And so one of the items I want to do looking back is your first official show that you were co-host on was February 19th, show 37. This was last year's 2017 was show 37. Do you remember how we did that?
That was the mystery show, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
For experimental technology. We're trying to do our voices all weird and stuff.
It worked out great. I thought it was fun. So yeah, that was fun. That was show 37. Can you believe that it's been
a few
from show 37 to show 100?
Because really we're at 100, but we've done 0.5 shows too.
We have. Yes.
How many of those have we done?
I have to go back.
3.
I can go back and look while we're going. But and also the podcast of Hope, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But that's like 8 shows in one night, so or 12 shows in one
Yeah,
night. So it's kind of insane. But do you recall the whole Geocache Talk Repeat Guest Challenge? You were the winner of that.
that's right. I was. That's right. I got lucky. That was a sign of things to come, right?
It was
The
it was
hotly
perfect.
debated challenge because there was like
Yeah,
no rules to it, and
no, there was no
half
rules. It just sort
shows,
of
and then Christy was on with me or something, and we had to do. Yeah,
yeah. Because well, what happened was is you filled in. Chris of the Northwest was well, he was half an hour late, and so I contacted you and I said, hey, I've got nobody on tonight, and I kind of wanted somebody to be on with and so I contacted you. You're like, I'm just watching the show. I'll jump on. So you jumped on that show, and then he joined. So we ended up with a funny show because it was you're a former cop, so we called you the good cop,
yeah, that's right.
and then Chris Umfenauer used to be the bad cop, and
Hmm.
he switched. He didn't want to, because a lot it has bad connotations today. So that show's called The Good Cop, Bad Cop. So it's kind of
Yeah,
fun. The good
and I
cop, the
think
bad
before
cop.
we get into the show, we need to because
Yeah,
there's lots of people in the chat room. I can't even keep up with the chat room already.
it's already
Um,
rolling, huh? That's awesome.
but next week is when you're going to cover all the Geo Woodstock stuff
Yes.
because a lot of people are still traveling right now, and
Yeah.
people around want to hear everything or whatever. Tonight we're just going over past, present, and
Yes.
future because it's show 100 to keep a good even
Yes.
show. But so next week, because if not, we're going to get sidetracked and we'll be on that. And I
Yeah.
know a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people are still on the road right now, so trying to get
A
back
lot,
home from the Giga.
yeah, a lot of people still on the road. Yeah. So we're not going to talk about the Giga. I will mention a couple little small items, but we're going to do a full blown show next week of Giga
Mhm.
recap, and Jesse's going to be on the road. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Daryl W4 is going to be on. He was on show 1. He was on show. I'll have to look it up. 52. He
Something
was
like
on
that.
the
The year
first,
show, yeah.
basically first anniversary, and since this is sort of coming up on our second anniversary coming up. We're going to try to keep that tradition going
Right.
with Daryl, and so it worked out perfect because we're going to do a Giga recap, and Jesse won't be here to have to listen to all that dribble about the Giga recap.
I don't
No,
believe it
it'll be
happened anyway. I think all the pictures were faked.
they were all fake,
That's right.
just like the moon landing. It's just all staged.
But let's jump right in tonight because let's just move past the Giga stuff and jump right in.
All right, let's get going. So let's get
There's
in.
only 50 people there anyway, so let's just
Right.
move on.
All right. So in the news, we're gonna do a couple news items. So let's start with the trackable update. So tell everybody what is going on with
So just to kind of fly through the news tonight because we're kind of do the show and we the trackable update with the DuckTales. Last I checked, I think it's still just really in its infancy because only the Louis have showed up on the map so far. So I don't know what that's about, what they're doing with that, but the race is very lopsided right now. It's
yeah
593 miles to 0 for everybody else.
to zero to
So
zero
I
to
don't think very
zero.
many are logged yet. Um,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think they've
think
checked in yet.
yeah, I think our guess because I told Jesse a few minutes ago. I said I had talked to Daryl W4, and he said, "Hey, we've activated 2 of them, and they were both Louis." And
Right.
I said, and he asked me, he goes, "Have you activated one?" I haven't. I said, "I haven't activated one yet." And when I told you, you were like, "Well, I'll go activate one," and you activated one,
It was a Louis.
and you got a Louis.
Yeah.
So our guess is that the first, say, 1,000 is because there's 4,000 trackables and there's 4 characters.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if the first 1,000 trackables logged will all be Louis.
Maybe. And then the race hopefully will go on for a while, so it won't be lopsided. And
Right. Louis
so
will
anyway, yeah,
automatically
so it's
win.
just Louis for now. So we'll touch base on that in the future. It hasn't gone
Yeah.
very far, but I think that one's still gonna be pretty cool. I like what they've done with it so far.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a glitch and they're not all Louis.
Oh
That
gosh.
would be terrible.
No,
But it'd
that'd be
still
a
be fun,
mess.
even if it wasn't the race, right? It's still gonna be a
No,
fun one.
yeah, it's a fun one.
Hey, it's a free trackable.
Yeah,
Think
exactly.
about a free trackable.
And yeah, it's a keychain. It's kind of cool looking. So
So quickly on the webcam watch, it's still 114 in the US, 277 in the world, and 3 disabled. I don't think there's been any change since last week. But
Okay.
the good news is virtual awards, there has been a change.
Oh,
It's up to 1514. So we jumped past
over.
1500.
Wow.
So it's increasing in speed.
That's cool.
I think I don't know. I think we'll get maybe that 3,000. I'd like to see 3,000. I'd be impressed with 3,000.
I'd like to see 3,000 because I think it would encourage them maybe to open up something like webcams or something like
Yeah.
that
And I got something
potentially.
to say about that in a little while when we get to some of our favorite
Okay.
funny parts for the shows. But
Oh, yeah,
15,
definitely.
14 is pretty good. So I think we're gaining some steam now because we're not even
Okay.
in June yet. And we still have June and July, and people are going to be slamming those.
Yeah.
I would say that if you've got yours, don't wait till like July 30th to put it in because reviewers are
Yeah.
going to get a bunch at the end and you
And
may miss your chance. Go
yeah.
ahead and get it in a few weeks early. Don't wait till that last day.
Yep. That would not be good. All right. Show 100. We're going to
100.
celebrate
That's crazy.
show 100. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's
So
we should call it a milestone show because that would be the
we'll change
geocaching
it.
terminology.
Geocache Talk Milestone instead of Celebration. We'll call it. I'm switching it. I appreciate it. We're going to switch the name, and that's what'll be on the. I'll switch it on the audio and video.
Well, on the website we can lock the milestones in at any time, so we don't have to lock it in yet.
It's a lock. Right. So we've got to thank the patrons first off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you got to meet again. I'm jealous. We're not going to get into the Giga right now, but I am so jealous about that. Almost over a lot of things, other than the icon and getting the first Giga and everything else. Is you got to meet some of these people that we interact with every single week. You got to meet a lot of them in person. A lot of these people. I've met a few of our patrons and some of the people, of course, but you got to meet a bunch of them all at one weekend, and that's pretty awesome. And the patrons are why we get to do. They really help us out with doing the little extra stuff that we get to do, the coins and all the a lot of the materials and website and everything else. So you can't say enough about how much our patrons are really just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, all the way in, like the coins, the path tags and the X tags, which we want to announce tonight too. We've got an X tag that we're giving to patrons, and I tried to make sure and give an X tag to all. If I missed you, patron, make sure and let me know because I'm gonna have to send some. But I got to hand most every patron that I saw. I tried to hand them an X tag, so that's a different looking coin. It's like a little mini coin, and so it's a different one that we did.
And I don't get to meet 20 of them, but I get to hang out with one of them Tuesday. So
That's right.
Cash Addict Mel and I are going caching Tuesday coming up,
That's
and
perfect.
we're gonna just get a bunch of good ones in South Carolina. And how else would we have crossed paths and got to do that other than this show? And it's really like a family within. I mean,
yeah,
the listeners are awesome, and we love everybody that listens to this, and we're happy that they're getting something out of it and getting good content.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the patrons are like the family inside there, and we do things offline that it's not for everybody, and we play those games and stuff like that, and it's cool because it's that little family. So
yeah, and one thing we talk about those the extra items that we can do, but we also we have bills pop up. Every year different bills pop up. We got to pay Podbean for our hosting for our audio. I got to pay them every year. I got to pay the bill for the website. I've got to pay the bill for all the different little doodads that we as far as keeping
our
the
hair
show.
makeup people. I mean,
makeup.
the community bed.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, Jesse, I've had to reject all of your expenses.
Oh, I know. I can't get anything expensed off. That's terrible.
Talk to Christy and see if we can route your expenses some other way. But dude, I can't pay for any of that stuff anymore, buddy.
Oh man,
that was kind of my own pocket. I mean, I couldn't let the patrons.
No more makeup people, huh?
No.
Okay.
So again, thanks for that. So we also want to thank the sponsors. We don't charge our sponsors. People kind of maybe sort of draw back the curtain a little bit to tell to see how that works. But in many ways, the money that they give us as sponsors, um, we mention them, and we mention them every week faithfully because they provide so much for the show. As far as like Keith Petrus with the FTF magazine, he provides an ad for us in every FTF Geocacher magazine, which you got to subscribe to because it's incredible. So, were you gonna say something about Keith?
Well,
Or
yeah, and
yeah,
it's not like we're charging a bunch of stuff for sponsors. We're anything that
yeah,
they provide, we're turning over to patrons and people listening to
yeah,
the show, giving away as prizes and
absolutely.
stuff. And
Yep.
I still feel good because the only sponsors we have are people that we believe are providing
Yes.
service to the geocaching community. There's no Nike now. I will straight up
Yep.
admit if Nike wants to sponsor us, I'm gonna sell out in a heartbeat. However,
Right. However,
um, yeah, they're not. So,
yep.
but that would be a different show, right? You'd be a sellout show, and I'd be
It'd be a
fired.
sellout. Yep.
But every Nick and Keith and all that, we believe in all those things, and they're actually providing a
Yes.
service, so we don't have to, be sponsored by milk. We can be sponsored by things that that
Right.
matter to geocaching. So I
Well,
still like that we're still at that point.
I agree completely. And so, for example, and I got to meet Peter Young, IB Geocaching, got to hang
Mm-hmm.
out with him, and he provides buttons, and we give out a lot of buttons, and that really, that's a very tangible item that people can look at and go, Geocache Talk, I need to check this out.
Yeah.
So it's been incredible to have and get to provide stuff. IB Geocaching has such great materials, great items. He makes a lot of buttons. If you ever need a button made, and he makes it, he made a bunch of them for people to give out at the Giga. So that was really cool to see his interaction with others that did their buttons as well.
So, and obviously all the listeners, we're
Yeah,
glad that people are getting some content out
and
of it.
the
It's funny because
listeners.
you'll
Yeah.
see people that'll join the show new and go back and listen to the old stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
you'll
Love
see when
them.
somebody starts hitting, they go through all of them.
Yep.
And it's speaking of that, the stats have kind of changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
And you pulled up a few of them, didn't you? Like
Yes.
countries. And
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that we're chatting about our favorite hobby, and a lot of people are getting something out of it, and it's spreading to more locations, and that's what's kind of shocking sometimes.
Yeah, most certainly. So yeah, let me give a couple of the stats. Let me
Okay.
actually do screen share, which is the beauty of Google Hangout on Air. And if you find anything, also Jesse, I know you're looking at the chat room, so make sure to chime in if there's some kind of questions or anything.
People are all amped up because they've been to some event that they claim had a bunch of people there this weekend.
Okay, yeah, we can ignore that. Block that. No, I'm kidding. All right, so let me screen share.
No trolls again this week. It's been a couple weeks since we've had a troll.
Yeah, that's good. So
Yeah, this geography map is pretty amazing.
yeah, this geography map is really cool. Let me get into the world one. And let me go back to all time, which is kind of interesting. So for all time, we've got United States, obviously, Canada. Love our Canadian listeners. They're kind of sort of next on the list. The UK, Australia, New Zealand. One of our patrons, Geo Rick, was at this event that we won't talk about.
That's crazy.
And he's in New Zealand, but look at we have a lot of New Zealand listeners. It's so cool. So Australia, New Zealand, they're just we really thank you guys so much. But he came all the way from New Zealand and got to meet him and talk and just we had a good time. But then we get into kind of a interesting part of the world here, Jesse. Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden. Do a view all. So you got this Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden is a kind of a cool part of the world, and I got to meet some people from the Netherlands that listens to our show. Got to meet them this weekend at the event.
Yeah, just keep rubbing it in. Keep going.
I know. Ireland, Germany, South Africa. It's kind of interesting. South Africa. I like that. That's kind of cool. Belgium, Uzbekistan, that we know who that guy is. Why am I drawing a blank? I'll think of it in a second. Puerto Rico, Portugal, Switzerland, China, France. Got to meet some of our French
Nice.
patron and fans of the show. Italy, Spain. It just goes on and on. Russia. It just keeps going and going and going. So it's at least 58 countries. Part of this, the Podbean doesn't really get into showing every country. I know it's at least 58. As far as the U.S. is concerned, every state is mentioned, so that's cool.
What's our
California,
That's our lowest state.
our lowest state. Okay,
Yeah.
Texas is our top, which it's a big state. California's next. New York, Colorado, Minnesota, Missouri. That's kind of cool. Virginia. Let me go to our last. I think Mississippi might be, or not Mississippi. Louisiana might be our low. Let's see.
To Alaska.
Alaska. But I did meet. It's interesting. I met some people that live in Alaska that are familiar with the show or listen to the show. They may be the only people that listen from Alaska, but we got to pick up on some of these, right? What you're thinking?
All right, reach out to Alaska and Montana people. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Let's get them in.
There's
here.
At least 13 people in Montana, so
right.
We got a lot of them.
And then the last thing I want to show is this is always kind of interesting or fascinating to me. I'm gonna do all time. So shows that have had the most views,
still the most.
Still, Land Monkey and Shermanator 18 were on. Did Earth Cache Geocache?
Now, that's the most downloads. That's not the most views.
No, most downloads, not views.
It's
that's
different
a whole
on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just audio. But look at the Great Container Debate and and of course Geo Woodstock 16. Sorry, buddy. But the Great Container Debate was a big hit.
Yeah.
So we may have to do that.
Oh, it's edged out by 1 point. Come on now.
Right.
It's only one above. I'm going to go call somebody to listen to the Great Container Debate to get it back in head.
We may have to, listen to that. We may have to revisit some of these topics because obviously they were popular. And of course, treasure, and it goes on from there. But great, cool stats. Let me stop sharing so we can go back to, anyway.
Cool. So the stats are great, and that didn't really tell the whole story, but that's a pretty interesting story, right?
That's audio.
Right. Video is totally different.
Video is totally different. Right.
So I think we have different opinions on these, but what about your favorite moments? It only counts 37 on, by the way.
Right.
I don't care anything before 37. That's prehistory. That's not even real.
Well, I'm going to actually talk about a couple different ones. But they're kind of pre and post. So, most memorable, I think, I've got to mention Daryl W4 because of, I first started the show right after Cache and Release. It was right before 14er, and I got the show kind of going. And my first thought was I need to have somebody on who is great with technology because I want to make sure the first show was good. I need, and I didn't want it to be a disaster, show one. Right. And I wanted somebody to be on who I could also sort of, ask questions before the show to make sure that I kind of got everything lined up and straightened. And so it was Daryl.
Yeah.
And so that was very memorable, the very first show. And I think I've got sort of 3 things I want to mention. So the other one was the different treasure shows that we did with Chris or Ansley or Rebecca or Matt, and just promoting treasure and being involved in helping Chris promote treasure, and then having these people on who are, I'm kind of awestruck, sort of starstruck with these stars that are in different things, and so to have them on our show, I felt like really kind of like in my mind, it was kind of like we're no longer some sort of outlier, I guess, of a podcast. We've got some substantial, not that everybody else isn't, but it kind of expanded our reach in a sense to a whole other area. of the media.
I agree. And that changed a lot of our thinking about the podcast too.
Yeah.
We wanted to get every bit of media out there for geocaching, not just one section, right?
Yeah.
TV shows, books, all that stuff. We wanted to really hit all that because when you're in a hobby like we are, you want to consume everything related to that.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to kind of put all in one place. And quick side note, have you heard of the new show Black Lightning? It's a superhero TV show. Do you know who's in that show?
I think I know.
Matt.
Is Matt's in it?
Yep, sure is. I kind of forgot. I kind of had known that. He told us before he might be in it. Yeah. And I was watching it this, last week. And you get to the scene where he shows up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know that guy.
I know the guy. Cool. That's right.
I mean, I don't know him, right? We talked to him like once, but
right.
He was a really cool guy, and or twice, but and all of a sudden he's just showing up and he's acting in the middle of these scenes, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's the guy that was in the Geocache movie.
We had him on our show. That's the crazy thing. Like you said, and that's why I think it was important to have like Doug on. Mm-hmm. Doug's a huge geocacher, so it doesn't. But the fact that he was so integral in inventing the Ms. Pac-Man game, I think really, like you said, kind of crossed over into a whole other world of things. And so, but his geocaching stands alone. I mean, he's been to 7 continents. I mean, the guy can. Even if he never invented Ms. Pac-Man, we would want him to have on the show. But
he's slightly ahead of us.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, slightly. Golly, yes, incredible. And then my last one, and we'll get to yours, which is the idea that we came up with, and really, even before you were a host, we had talked about this, and with Christy too. It was very important. Memphis Wife was very involved in this because I wanted to do a podcast. For a charity of some type, and I wanted to kind of I want it to be sort of an all-star thing. And every year it's been an all-star cast. We have on. We have the greatest, in the country, on the show. We get Sunny and Sandy. We get all the podcasters, and we get all these other people on as part of the whole process. And so it's been really cool to do this podcast of hope, and we've done it, and I think we're going to continue.
I hope so.
Doing it, I think we're going to continue also doing it for St. Jude, because to me, the St. Jude charity, the St. Jude hospitals is something that I feel very strongly about. I know you guys are, because Christy worked there.
Mm-hmm. She sure did.
So for me, that was my last thing, is that we've done it now twice. I want to do it a third time. We've raised over $7,000 for St. Jude, and I feel very proud that
I was inspired by everybody that just jumped in on that last time, or both times, but
yeah, especially this last time. We're like, we're going to raise 5,000. Like, we're gonna make it to this, and we made it. We made it to like what was it? It was like 11 o'clock, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were done
for a little another hour to talk about a hobby, and we raised $5,000 to battle childhood cancer. I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yes.
So, and that one, if you wouldn't have said that one, I would have called that as one of my favorites.
That was on your list.
Because I mean, cool. St. Jude, even outside of this podcast, is very huge in our family, and you can't work at that place or go to that place and not be totally inspired. And then when our little family here, the people that are joining the show, when we raise money like that, it's money that could be spent on yourself doing whatever you wanted to do, and people are giving that up to somebody they've never met before. I was pretty happy about that. I hope we continue to do that every single year.
Yeah, no, we definitely.
Although you keep making it longer and longer, so I don't know. It gets kind of rough.
I know. I think we'll keep it the same length, but
I don't think it's going to go any longer.
No, but I think we're going to raise even more each year for childhood cancer, and that's important. So anyway, that was mine. What are some of yours?
So Podcast to Hope, you kind of talked about that one. I would have picked that one.
Sure.
In general, I like the international shows, just so in general, we don't have time to get into all of those. Obviously, we'll be here for a Podcast of Hope length show.
Right.
But so I picked out 4 shows specifically. And if people haven't watched these, go back and watch them if you want to after I talk about them. But the reason why I picked them, I kind of struggled going through this because I've enjoyed the whole process. and I've met so many people and everything off of this. And you've been on other podcasts before, but this is my first one. So,
Yeah.
I've never been a host of another podcast, and I really have enjoyed it. So
You've
I
been
wanted
on
to
some
pick shows
shows, but
that,
never hosted.
yeah,
I mean,
just
you've been
word of
on
my
some,
mouth, but I haven't been actually part of it.
right. That's true.
I wanted to pick shows that actually inspired me to think or do something differently.
Okay.
So the first one was Show 48, the virtual caches. The reason why I thought this was cool is because I think it, I'm going to claim that history caches got people thinking. I'm sure they were already on it, but I'm going to take credit for that one anyway.
Yeah.
Take credit for that. But it really got me inspired for virtual caches. We started talking about it. And 22 shows later, all of a sudden we're doing a show on virtual caches are back out. Maybe in a coincidence, but it was really neat for me to see how we're all talking about it as a community, and all of a sudden we actually see it change and happen. And that's never changed the whole time I've been in geocaching.
Right.
So that was one of the biggest things that we were involved with. Not that we did it. I know I'd like to take credit for that, and then we actually saw something change afterwards. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That was very good.
And then show 77 was Dr. Polly. That was the geocaching teacher.
Absolutely.
Now, while I also know him personally, I've talked to him. That show was really cool because that guy got out there and started a geocaching club and got a lot of kids into it. And I've seen some of the puzzles he's done. And I can't give any details yet, but I'm working towards being able to do that myself one day.
Oh, cool.
In the not too distant future. I really want to help, at least help sponsor, if not do that. Because I've seen how much fun those kids had. I got to see it personally and saw what they did. And kids are really learning a lot out of it. So
that's awesome. That's incredible.
I'm hoping in the near future, within the next 1 to 2 years, 1 to 2 seasons, I'm going to be able to be a part of that myself. And I'm excited about that. And that really kind of gave me the inspiration because he did it, and he got out and did it. So I think others can too, and really help out kids, give them something positive to go for.
Right.
And then 85 was geocaching trip planning, and we had Zach on for that one, and we had a blast on that one, just talking about stuff. And to me, I've written a bunch of notes since that because I really love the trip planning, and I've gone on several trips since we did that, and it really helps to know what you're doing. And I think that's going to be the first book, geocaching related book, that comes out for me is about trip planning and a lot of the real trips we can do. So that one really inspired me to start keeping a lot of notes, and the notes are getting longer and longer. And
perfect.
And we had fun. We talked a lot about that one. We had fun on that show.
Yeah.
And then of course this one doesn't even need an explanation. Show 66. Fuzzy B talks about Mother's Challenge.
We got him on.
I'm going to go get that one day. That is so inspiring to me that there's a cache out there like that people can't find, but it's there. It's not like a trick. They know where it is. They literally can't find it. And I complain all the time of, you see
4 now, Jesse. We're up to 4.
4 people have found it.
It's still out there.
How many DNFs are on there? Like tons, hundreds, right?
But you can imagine how many. Think, Jesse, how many of those DNFs were people who I'm not logging a DNF.
Oh yeah, or how many people have tried it more than once and have only logged DNF once?
Or they just get mad and they're like, I'm not logging a DNF.
Yeah, but I love that. That to me is on the level of like gadget caches. Right. It's inspired geocaching. It's not the pill bottle under the bush. It's somebody really worked on that one hard and is working on it constantly and maintained it. Right. Somebody asked, did Zach get it to get mothers? We'll let Zach answer that question. Yeah, we'll just so we can rub it in, right? But those are really my favorite highlights because, well, everybody has their favorite show, and because I think these are all our shows, right? We get to all have fun with them, but those helped me open discussions or do something different, and if we can get on the show and change the way we've done it after years, I think that's good. That shows you can keep recycling your hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking in our final sort of looking back item that I want you and I to discuss, Jesse, is we've done some topic shows, and we're trying to do more of a mix because I think we're trying to listen to our listeners and our patrons, and they have, they like the fact that we focus on advanced topics. I've gotten a lot of feedback. I got a lot of feedback at Giga about the fact that our show does a lot of advanced things, but they also love the fact that we find guests um, that are very unique, like a Doug McCrae, like our internet, like you were talking about, our international guests. Somebody from Norway. Craig comes on from Australia. And so it's been interesting to hear some feedback, and that's something we are committed to. Dr. Polly,
Mm-hmm.
Things that go sort of above and beyond, and that's something that just now are really working on, is we can grab some guests that are out there, but we want to try to further the show by finding guests that are different, that are unique. We're going to do a show on benchmarks. I mean, you don't. I mean, and not trying to, I'm trying to, rag on any of the other shows that are out there, but I mean, to hear somebody who is an expert on benchmarks, I think is fascinating.
Well, I agree, and this is I don't look at that as our show. It's our show because we're hosting the show, but I
Right.
think it's a whole group, and not just the patrons, but everybody that's listening to the show. We have the platform here, but we're just as much a student of geocaching as everybody else, so we can't think of everything. We
Right.
want to make sure that we're getting the right thing. We have the platform for it here, so we want to really dig into the meat and the bones of geocaching and the really advanced stuff. So we want to hear about things. We want to know that we're going in the right direction. We
Mhm.
may just get focused on the things that we think about, but we don't want to. We want to know every single thing and get the people on for every single aspect of geocaching. So that's kind of where we're both guests and discussions that we have, right? That's where we're
Yeah,
trying to aim this ship, I guess, so to speak.
absolutely. And we're not afraid to have somebody on who's been on other shows,
Mm-hmm.
because we can give a different angle. For example, I got to meet Jill Monkey Tiger this weekend.
That's right.
So, but he sent us a comment the other day, which I think really speaks to where we've come in these first 100 shows, and that is, he said he had a ton of people who joined. Not the They didn't join the GGA, the Georgia Geocaching Association, but they joined the challenges. So he has people who joined because of you and I, to do some of the weekly challenges, because you can do them from anywhere in the world. You're not going to get raffle tickets because you're not part of the Georgia Geocaching
Right.
Association, but you can be part of it. And so, we've been able to influence, different things like that.
And a lot of people hadn't heard about that before we talked about it.
Right.
And I hadn't before we started talking about that. I had no idea that the thing was going on. And I'm absolutely trying to compete in it now.
Right. It's
Not that I'm
each week.
competitive, but
No, of course not.
so
That-
kind of the future.
yeah. We're
And
switching gears. Yeah.
so I think with the future, one of the things we've been trying to do, and we're going to keep trying to do, is really try new things.
We got something from Zach.
Yeah. So it's perfect timing because he's about to jump in, and we try to, Zach has found more caches on the show than,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
lots of
clearly.
caches on the show, but live on the show. Now those could go wrong every time. Zach could be somewhere right now,
Well,
and that
he
could go
could be.
terribly wrong, right?
He
But
could
it's
be
okay.
somewhere.
We're not afraid to try that, and we want to keep doing that because it's kind of
Speaking
fun. We're trying to do
speaking
another
of,
first right now, so Zach's about to come on and tell us about it.
here,
Look, I'm there twice.
just thought twice.
This is just Memphis on twice.
I was not expecting that. That's funny.
Memphis, you get to log this, right? Because
Oh, sweet, yeah. So tell us where you are because we're going to try another live first. I don't know how it's going to go. It may go horribly wrong, but
Well, if I just arrived here, so it might take a little bit for the feed to come in on your end, and it is at night. We're at the courthouse in Louisville.
Okay.
at the Smile webcam.
Right. Oh, cool.
And I believe I sent you guys the GC code if you could look it up. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Now you're
But
outside though, right?
yes, we have to be outside because it is closed. But we're outside. If you look in the window,
Okay, so yeah,
the webcam's inside there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep. So
do you have it pulled up, Gary?
Yeah, I'm pulling up now. Oh, we got Angie's on. Angie's on too. Hang on, Angie.
Angie's here too.
We're in the middle of
live. So which one is it? It's Smile webcam.
Smile webcam.
GC.
On that link, there's several. It's the downtown branch office.
Yep.
Yeah,
Downtown
it's
branch office. Yep.
It's GC Jasmer rating event 6 GCJRE6.
So if anybody has a second screen, you can look at this and maybe see Zach live on the webcam.
You can see Zach live twice. He's live on the live on the podcast.
This has to be the first time a webcam's been logged live on a podcast.
Up? Is it pulling up?
We're looking. Hang on. Keep going.
Yeah, it does say that it could take a few minutes to actually cycle through, so you can see us on the webcam.
Cool.
Oh, really? Oh, security is wanting us to leave right now.
Oh, okay.
They said we can't do this.
All right.
Even though the courthouse said it could on the cache page.
Yeah, it's not worth getting arrested. We don't need a first arrest live on the show.
Yeah, don't want an LEO encounter.
No.
All right.
That counts, right? Was it security or was it law enforcement?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm talking with you guys. I'm focusing on the show right now, but
yeah, I would just go ahead and leave.
Yeah, okay.
We don't need a webcam live on the show that bad that you're gonna.
Is it cycling through at least?
Is it the first DNF on the show?
Oh, that's the first DNF.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
And DNF of a webcam. That's like a denied. That's not even a DNF. It's a denied.
You guys could chat with Angie for a bit. I'm gonna kind of mute and debrief with the guys here.
Okay, no problem.
Don't get yourself in trouble. Well, but you know what? That's a perfect example. And Angie, as you were coming on, we were saying that you and Zach are really the future of what we're talking about. And what we hope to be fun is the fact that and we didn't set that up, by the way. We did not set that up. We're not afraid to fail like that. That was not a setup. We actually thought we were going to get a webcam live on the show, but and thank you for being a part of this. And we're kind of talking about the future and a lot of the stuff that you're doing. And that's great that we're willing to try y'all are willing to try some different things and jump on with a couple of crazy people like us.
It's been fun. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
You're definitely part of it. What let me ask you a couple things. So talking about the future, we're kind of at the point tonight. But I think some of the future really started when we brought you on board as an affiliate and helping us get things like the blog. We didn't really have the blog going. Geocaching Junkie was doing it, but she was busy, and really I felt like it would be better if somebody could give a little more time, and she did too. She didn't feel good about she was so helpful going, but I know for her she's busy, just got married and many different things. So it really worked out that you were able to kind of come on board, kind of take the reins of that. And so with that and with getting us involved with Instagram, I think has been really important, I think, for the show, don't you think?
Yeah, I just took a couple little live feeds. I don't know if you guys probably didn't notice, but
cool.
I posted it on the account. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a fun channel or platform to use.
Well, and you're not afraid to do that, which helps us all, right? We talked earlier about it, about trying to hit all the mediums like books.
Mm-hmm.
You know a little bit about that. I'm like, me and Zach need to step it up, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, we gotta put some books out. What's going on with us?
Yeah, come on. I mean, Angie and me we both have books out.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm also, I don't know if you can see my background here, but I
Yeah.
think I'm going to run for office here.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
And I got my vice president peeking over my shoulder.
Nice. I'll vote for at least one of you.
Yeah. That's either really good or really bad.
But and like Zach is, Zach, we're talking about different mediums and stuff, right? Different media. Zach's doing the vlog, and it is about the numbers, or it's all about the numbers.
It's all about the
Yep.
numbers.
Which I heard somebody quote recently on a video that you haven't released yet, so I'm not gonna say who it is. But
Yeah, just maybe an utmost authority on that.
yeah, guys found a couple of caches anyway.
Yeah, one or two, but ran into him today, and you'll look for that in an upcoming video. But
the videos that you're doing, and the blog, and the books, and apparently I'm the slacker. I'm not doing anything. I need to step it up.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. I tried out doing things on Instagram, and that actually I really liked that. That was a lot quicker and cleaner, I feel like, this weekend, and so you might see me a little more active on there with between show stuff, with the actual just quick grabbing a cache for the day, things like that.
And I think you hit on something good too, because we were talking about it before the show. We're not gonna give any details out now, but I suspect in the future you'll see more Instagram stuff for this group, for this network, because we like it. It stays away from everything else. It's it's good, and there may be some new Instagram stuff happening.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What is the quote for the drinking show? That's for another show.
That's for another show. Yeah, that'll get them. Everybody can take a drink
For the drinking game. Anybody playing along? That's for another show.
Playing along. That's for another show. Zach, if I can ask you a quick question, my friend. So have you had people either yesterday at the Giga or in other days? Have you had them mention to you about being on Geocache Talk or doing a live find of a geocache?
Yeah, actually, I'm considering I gotta probably just quit my show because the only thing I seem to be recognized for anymore is Geocache Talk. I think just as equal with people mentioning like my bridge climb cache, or that time I did Mingo shirtless and stole it, and
right,
and the car rolled away. Yeah,
car rolled away.
People are like, oh, we just love that you're on Geocache Talk. It's my favorite show. And little things like you guys actually find caches on the show, and I enjoy doing my little bit or segment, if you want to call it that, and people seem to love it. People just love the show. I saw them running up and hugging you. I saw them running up and hugging actually Sydney, even she was there. Sherman.
Yeah, that's right.
And people recognize us, and it's not just the voices, because we're a show that people come and watch. More so than any other show, I think. So, that's sort of under the radar thing, but we have a really strong YouTube viewership week in and week out. We do,
and I think that's really helped, and to have you guys on, and for and Angie really kind of getting us to do a lot more, even the giveaway. That was your suggestion, Angie, to start doing giveaways on Instagram, and I was like, how do you do a giveaway on Instagram? And
tell the truth. First thing you said was, what's Instagram?
No, I was on Instagram, but after Angie came, you've done this before. You had done giveaways on Instagram before, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And had success doing that. But I liked your idea, and your idea, I'm sure, like I said, may not be unique, but we got like 400 plus followers just doing the show. Doing the giveaway, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, I know it's gotten to be quite a few. I don't remember how much you started with, but I just looked. It's over 700 now. So
oh my gosh,
it's pretty awesome. With those giveaways too, they really capture a geocacher's eye. So everyone likes geocoins.
And I think we got some social media things coming up, and opportunities for people to do something that maybe they've never done before in this game that people should stay tuned to, and I think that'll help help our following. But man, we are starting a conversation with people that they're taking to gigas, they're taking back to their home areas. And, you know, I know like this show is something that I hear, you know, obviously I'm on the show, but I hear other people in my own small community talking about, and it's cool to see that, you know, as geocaching, you know, it takes geocaching headquarters, you know, putting out things to get excited about and things to keep the game fresh and growing. But, you know, also just the things we bring to the table every week and try to, you know, give 100%, you know, towards this show and this game we love. I think it's really contagious, and it goes to the people that comment in the chat room, the people that write in with the emails and everything. They're, you know, they give us so much stuff to work with and talk about in the show. So.
Yep. Well, one last thing, and we're going to kind of wrap up for the night, but for our milestone, as we're calling it, the Geocache Talk milestone, we've got something that we're going to unveil, but we're not going to unveil it actually until next month. The beginning of next month is probably when we're going to unveil this, sometime next month. But the four of us are all been involved. Well, all four of us are involved. Angie's still in the process of getting her portion of it to where it needs to be. But without giving away too much about this,
don't spoil it.
This incredible thing we're going to be doing. I want everybody to kind of comment. What are your thoughts on this? Because I guarantee you, no other show's ever done what we're going to do.
Are we saying what we're going to do yet, or
no?
Are we just comment on our? Okay,
this
is hard.
I know it's hard because I want to at least.
I'll be doing my part soon.
Yeah, you're going to do your portion of this
sometime this summer.
Yep, I think we're just building excitement without actually telling people what we're doing. So,
in fairness, I think we can say that this first one,
yes, the first one,
is going to be. We're going to experiment with this first one in the U.S.
Yes,
is that fair to say? Okay, we can say
planning. We're planning. If this one goes well, we will do it all over the world, worldwide. But the first one we want to phase one is going to be U.S. because we don't know how it's going to go yet. So we had to start somewhere. So we started where we're
not afraid to fail, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're not afraid to fail. We'll try anything. To further because what we're going to do, I think, it really is groundbreaking. I mean, there's no other show's ever done what we're about to do.
No, nobody's. We like doing first anyway, but nobody's done this.
Was groundbreaking a hint? Are we going to dig tunnels?
No.
We've already done that kind of on the show.
Yeah. But
oh yeah, we did. I had like an excavator. Or something.
That's right. Yeah, that was a tot. Special
right.
tot.
That was a special tot we had.
Great moment.
Zach had the, yeah.
But something large and fun and puzzling will be coming up.
Zach has got his thing.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm missing this with a terrible accent.
That's good, Zach.
Oh dear, I love it.
Which was a big hit, by the way, this weekend. It was a huge hit.
Christy was enjoying it immensely. She does a lot of, the CFO is also our PIO. She does a lot of the social media stuff, and she got into it and decided that she was loving the picture so much she wants to give away a coin or a prize. I'm not gonna say what she's giving away. A prize to the best. She would totally judged by her. The best picture that she found from all the Flat Memphis stuff this weekend.
All the Flat Memphis stuff. We had a lot of Flat Memphis stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was awesome.
So do I have
really
a leg
hard.
up? Do I have a leg up since I sent you about probably 75% of the pictures?
It's totally up to Christy. She's totally in charge. So
I was enjoying them so much, seeing them on social media.
Oh my gosh!
I had one face. I know there was another one of these, and then your little Flat Memphis.
Little Flat map.
The one that currently has a cowboy hat.
Yep. Yes.
Somebody added a cowboy hat to it.
And a cowboy hat for next year's Geo Woodstock. So
anyway,
let me reel us back in for a second. I'm gonna get Angie to talk. I'm gonna get Angie to talk about this because you guys are off on your own little tangent. So
we're excited.
I know. So Angie, what are your? I mean, without again, we can't really unveil it yet. But this idea that we're going to announce. I mean, it is groundbreaking. What are your thoughts when we told you about it? This idea that we're doing in this.
I think it's super creative, and like you were saying, I've never heard about it or anything like it before, and I'm excited to see who gets involved with it. And yeah, I think like you were saying earlier in the show, how we're involved on so many different mediums that could really play a part. So you might want to,
yes,
attention to those different accounts,
absolutely
different blogs, different.
You might want to join Instagram, our Instagram. Yeah. You might want to make sure and read through.
There's probably going to be one coming out on Geocache Talk.
Geocache Talk blog. You need to make sure you read those. Check pictures but what we'll do for sure is we're going to announce a beginning and an end so that people aren't. We are going to give some format to.
Sadly, we're the only 4 people that can't participate in this brand new thing for geocaching.
Exactly.
How is that fair?
How is that fair? Well,
and it's something that would drive me. I know me, Zach, but all of y'all. It would drive us crazy. We'd definitely be doing it if we weren't the 4 of us.
Right.
We would be participating without a doubt.
You'd be all over it because it's that groundbreaking that we're doing. So, all right.
I might actually do what it is and then knock myself on one of these Louisville slugger bats that we're walking past. just so I forget, so it's like a mystery for myself to figure out whatever we're doing.
What we're doing. Yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead. I was going to start the wrap up, Jesse. What were you going to say?
So also coming up, a couple of things we're going to be doing. There's a bunch of
go ahead.
books coming up.
Definitely.
More and then books. We got to get out of here, but I know everybody's got to get back to their holiday and stuff. Books coming out soon.
Yeah, I've got
more video that I know Zach's got ready, and he's going to be bringing out and stuff too.
Absolutely.
We're still going to be hitting Instagram. We're still going to be doing a lot more interaction, a lot of these things, and a lot more patron stuff. We get to have so much fun behind the scenes. We're going to start share. We can't share all of that for everybody, but for our family here, this patron family, we're going to start sharing some of that. Because some stuff, not everything can go out, in the public. But it's still so good, and we're having so much fun behind the scenes. We need to share some of that as well. So,
yeah, I've got a bunch of audio from this weekend, and so much of it, but a good portion of that is going to be shared with patrons. But we are going to put together a little 0.5 audio that we're going to provide to everyone that listens, and we're going to put that out as well because I did some cool interviews this weekend, so that was kind of fun, but.
I know there's at least one day Zach and I will be shooting some video.
Yes.
At the same location.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
We're looking forward to that.
Maybe more than once this year. We'll see.
Yep.
I hope more than once this year, but at least once.
Too.
One big trip for sure. I know you guys are taking.
Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So all right. Yeah. Jesse, I want you to mention where you're going to what you got coming up here in a minute, but let's go around the room and let everybody kind of give a final thought. So, Zach, I'll start with you. Give us some final thoughts on Show 100 and the Geocache Talk milestone.
Well, I'm all about the numbers, all about the milestones. So can I just say to you, Gary, you started this is your baby. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Seriously, man. It takes consistency, and you have whittled down a format that I think is clean, crisp, it works, people enjoy it, and this is something you've built from the ground up, and it's become the best Geocache podcast that I listen to, and most people agree, if not all people. But it is awesome, and it's fun, and we try new things, and Memphis and I, we wouldn't be a part of something if we didn't think that we could try new things and try to push the envelope and see what we can do, because our personalities wouldn't be able to handle it. But
very, very true.
And so I love what you've built. I love being my little part in it, and I hope there's many hundreds more to come.
Yes.
You've joined the Century Club. Can you ever make it to the Millennium Club?
I know.
Who
We're
knows?
gonna work on that. That's a
But-
long time. But
yeah, just wrapping up my thoughts here. I love being a
Very
part of the
good.
show. And I'll have to do a count sometime of how many caches we found live on our show. It might be more than some podcasts have found all year.
It might be. So yeah, I hear you. And speaking of the patron stuff, so Zach, if you can stick around for a couple minutes, we're going to do a little bit of audio after the show. We're going to provide, so we're going to do some of that. So Angie, give us some of your thoughts too here.
Well, I agree with Zach. I'm pretty appreciative of being involved with you guys. Just a little bit that I am, it's pretty fun. And you guys are very dedicated. To get to 100, I mean, obviously pretty dedicated, and seeing the message. I don't know if you guys ever talk about that. We have that little Facebook message, and throughout the week, you guys are always thinking about Geocache Talk and what you can do to better it. And you're just very, very dedicated. And that's awesome to see. Awesome to listen to.
Right. Okay. Jesse, tell us some stuff.
Yeah, so I have to kind of echo what Zach's saying too. This show is here, Angie, Zach, and I play our parts, but the show is here because you've done it. You got it started. You put it together. You've kept us all together. You've got this big vision for it. So I want to thank you for letting me be a part of it. I've really, really enjoyed my time, and I haven't been on any other podcast as far as a regular part. Right. I've showed up and been loud, but I haven't been an actual member of a podcast. And I've really enjoyed this experience, getting all the way up to this milestone 100. We've had a lot of fun. We can't talk about a lot of the stuff, but we have a lot of stuff planned for coming up in the future. And we have a really great team, and our team, and then the whole patrons, and then everybody else that we've been able to connect with since we've started, this has really changed geocaching for me too. And obviously I'm pretty all in with geocaching, tattooed on my body, travel around the world, that kind of stuff. But this is given a whole nother level. So I'm getting more out of this show, I think, than anybody else is getting out of it. And I'm really happy we made it to 100, and I can't wait to see what we get to do in the future because of this show. So,
yep. Tell us where you're going to be. I'm going to say a couple of last words, but to give everybody a final update on your South Carolina trip.
So, and I mentioned earlier, I think we mentioned this on the show, but I know we were talking about it before the show, but I'm headed to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach to play and have fun. I tried to put together a CETO for kayaking, but I can't do that, so we're just going to go kayaking instead. Tuesday morning, we're doing a donut event to meet up with some people in the area. And one of our patrons is going to be there, Cache Addict Mel. We're going to hang out and go caching all day long. And so I get to actually cache with one of the patrons, and awesome. We get to go and have some fun and just pick up a bunch of South Carolina caches, and then just go all around the area. And of course, I'm going to sneak across the border to North Carolina.
Grab a cache.
And there's even a layover in Georgia, and I don't have that state. So
he's trying to work that out.
I may miss the plane, so we're going to see what happens. But so I get to meet people, and there's people that are going to show up, and just like anywhere we go, we talked about it before. I get to meet people just because of geocaching. That's the only reason I'm getting to meet these people when I get into town, and it's great. I'm very excited, looking forward to it. So that's why I won't be on the show next week too. So I'll be in the air flying at that time.
Zach, you want to say something real fast?
Jesse, you better get Georgia, man.
He's got plans for Georgia, I think, already, but
it's pressure. But it's really not pressure, because going caching is there, and I have to go to that one. And then there's 2 I need for double and triple Jasmer. So
he'll be there.
I got to go back to Georgia eventually anyway.
If I can make my layover work at the end of the month, you can make your layover work.
You have more time than I do, in fairness.
Okay, that is true.
And a driver showing up to pick you up. So
in a fresh new carriage.
That is right. A new Geo ride. I didn't even have a trackable on it yet.
A Geo ride. No, that's incredible.
That's how you know it's fresh.
That's right.
All right. Do you have the GC handy, Jesse, for your event? If you want to look that up.
I do. Give me just
donut thing. Yeah, pull that up if you would, because we've got people in South Carolina that are listeners. Other than Cache Addict Mel, she's a darling. You'll have a great time with her. But
because we are part of a special community. I can't even bribe people to come to my event. How can I bribe them? There'll be DuckTales Trackables there. Just
That's
gonna say
right.
that out loud. If you show up, you'll probably get one.
You probably get a trackable.
GC 7. Oh, let's see.
At the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I know. I'm so terrible at this.
It's all right. We're getting there.
Nature.
Okay.
X-File.
Yep.
Virtual. And multi.
Okay.
GC7 NXVM.
NXVM. Gotcha. Okay.
So there will be DuckTales Trackables there for anybody that wants donuts and trackables.
What time is the event real fast and where? What part of it's in Myrtle Beach, right?
Yeah, it's Dunkin' Donuts in Myrtle Beach. I mean, I'm sorry, Krispy Kreme in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
7:30 to 8:30, and then going out. Not that you can set up an event to go cashing. I know that I'm not breaking the rules.
Not doing that.
But 7:30 to 8:30, we're gonna be eating a bunch of donuts to get powered up for an unrelated day of caching. So
right.
Anybody that shows up, we're gonna go get a bunch of caches.
After the event is over, if you'd like to stick
Krispy
around,
Kreme off the line, that's worth it just for that.
That's awesome. Yes.
Those fresh ones. Oh, so good.
Absolutely, man. You kept me going.
But if anybody's close and wants to come by, please come by.
Yes.
We'll have a lot of fun that day.
Absolutely. Come by and tell us that you listen to the show. And like I said, you'll probably get a trackable for sure. All right.
At least.
Coming up on the show next week, show 101. Jesse will be in out of pocket traveling, but Daryl W4 and I are going to do a Giga recap show. So we always have Daryl W4 on every year at this time for our anniversary of the show. And so that's next week for 101. Show 102, we're going to do Favorite Finds Part 2. Jesse and I did a Favorite Finds Part 1. We did half of our favorite finds by type. And it was a very successful show. Does that make sense? Did I say that okay?
Yeah, you said it fine. I'm just laughing at Flat Memphis still.
Oh, Flat Memphis behind on the
still
screen.
Yeah.
He's still goofing around. So we're going to do a Favorite Finds Part 2. Then in 3 weeks, we're going to do a very unique show, I think. Show 103. I've never seen any other show do it. We're going to talk about not just travel bug hotels. We're going to talk about the whole travel bug building frontier out there, travel bug village, as it were, and what you can do to not only build travel bug hotels, but to kind of think outside the box and do, travel bug hospitals or do travel bug villages. We've heard about a lot of different ideas, and so we want to really bring those out of what we've heard people doing, and so we're looking forward to discussing the show for that, and so we should do the show with your listeners.
Now we'll leave it in the notes. We're gonna get sidetracked. That's for another show, as the drinking game would be.
Oh, because we're gonna do another listener. Yeah, here we go again. And then shows after that. Show 104 needs maintenance, needs archive. What do you do with that, and why you should or should not do something with that? And then show 105, Ryan Simmel's going to join us with a friend of his for the National Trail System. We didn't get to do that show. We're going to do that show, talk about the 50th anniversary of the National Trail System. So we're really looking forward to that show as well. So, all right. Well,
I think 104 is going to be pretty controversial too. So
yeah, 104 is going to be
that one.
104 is going to be that's going to be a hot one because needs maintenance, needs archive. We're going to tell you what we think you should or should not do on that. So that'll be fun. All right. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your, yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, start doing the outro because this show needs archived. The 100 show. I'm just kidding. I loved it. I know the end's coming.
That's right. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk. Mine's at Gary Slinkard. Our Instagram is Geocache Talk. you can follow Gary Slinkard, but you really want to follow Geocache Talk. That's where I usually post all my stuff. Jesse, Memphis Mafia, Sodak Zach, GeoJanji.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you do it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So you got it down to just GeoJanji for Instagram and everything. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That works out great. All right. The show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Also on the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button below so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And please tell your friends to watch the show or listen to the show. We really appreciate that you guys are doing that and spreading the word. Until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Go achieve your own milestone and go geocaching. Good night, everybody.